everybody. It is me. It is AlexisMaurice and my co-host,
TreiHollywood.
And welcome to an all-new episode of the Weekly Wind-Up. Thank you guys so much for joining us on today. We had a couple of things that we need to talk about. So go ahead and pour yourself a glass of wine. I'm not drinking any wine today because I'm at work. Trey is not drinking any wine today because he had some rotten teeth that he needed to be pulled out of his mouth. So he's not drinking any wine today. But you guys tell us what you are drinking in the comments. Pull up a chair because we are about to discuss some of the hottest topics that are going on right now. Now, before we begin, make sure that you like this video, stay interactive or stay interacting with us. Make sure when it's reposted that you like it, you share it on YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all of that good stuff. Thank you again so much for joining on today. Now, before we begin, we do want to recognize or send some positive energy, some healing energy, and some love to actress and director Regina King. Unfortunately, her 26-year-old son, Ian Alexander Jr., did commit suicide just a few days after his 26th birthday. Definitely so sorry to hear about that, and we're just sending her love. Ian was her only child, so I can't imagine what she possibly could be going through right now, having to bury her one and only son. So sending her some love and healing energy. Trey, did you want to say anything about Regina King and her son committing suicide?
No, because I feel like I feel like some of the things I may say may come off in maybe insensitive or what the case may be. So I'll just keep it to myself.
Well, okay. Well, that's interesting that you would say that, but I wonder how could you be insensitive about talking about suicide? I don't get that. Why would you be insensitive about that?
I mean, I'm not insensitive about it, but it may come off that way to some people. So I said I'll keep it to myself.
Okay. Well, let me ask you a question. Have you ever struggled with thoughts of suicide before?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Have you ever, and if you don't want to share, you can actually say that, have you ever attempted to take your life before?
I wouldn't say fully gone through with the whole thing, but I was at that point where I was sitting there in that moment and was going to.
Wow. Hey, that's tough because, I think one of the things that her son posted at one point, he was kind of making a reference to a SpongeBob episode on how he felt like, in his mind, there was a whole bunch of things going on. And he was saying how he felt like being on social media probably wasn't the best thing for him. And then also this week, Kevin Gates actually did an interview as well, where he was talking about how he was contemplating suicide as well, too. And he even got to the point where he wrote the letter and he was going to take himself out. And the reason that he was going to do that is because he experienced a lot of heartbreak in his life. In addition to that, he felt like, no one has never really loved him. He was feeling underappreciated as a man and as a provider and things of that particular nature. So I was just like, oh, it hurts, when people want to think about actually, taking, their own life. But he contributed a lot of it, though, having to do with social media as well. So my question to you is, do you think social media contributes to challenges with a person having mental health?
Absolutely, because I think like for me, for example, like you say, he wrote the letter. I wrote the letter. I was at the point where when I was there, I had already had the letter written out. I think I might actually still have the letter, not because I plan on using it, but because I want to remember where I've came from. You know what I'm saying? But I do feel like social media can contribute a lot to mental health issues because I feel like some people, if they're not at their strongest point, or if they're not supported where they feel like they should be supported at, they may see things on social media that they want in life or where they want to be. And so, for example, I'll just give you an example. Say I'm an aspiring actor and I feel like, okay, people that I know or people who claim to support me don't really support me the way I do, but then I see them supporting other people who they don't even know, people that just know from social media or people who are celebrities. And in my mentality, if I'm at a point where I'm weak, I'm thinking, you know what? damn, these people really don't believe in me. These people really don't see what I see in myself, you know? And I've been in that place, you know what I'm saying? And people get in that place because they expect or they want that genuine love from the people who are close to them, and they don't get it. And then they see it on social media. They see all this flood from love to other people from social media. So I feel like social media can play a part in that. It's not that it's you know, that somebody's purposely doing that, but social media will add that fuel to whatever fire that you're emotionally going through mentally.
Yeah. I have, you know, I too have had moments where I have compared my life to other people's life, you know, on social media. And I'm looking like, well, damn, what the hell am I doing wrong? Or, you know, to your point, you know, these people are supporting strangers, but they're not necessarily supporting me or whatever the case may be. But I had to learn that social media and what people put on social media is not really sometimes what's going on in real life or whatever. Social media is what people want you to see as what's going on in their life. So you have to kind of like, and the way that I look at it is I enjoy social media. I enjoy engaging. I enjoy, you know, talking to other people. But at the end of the day, what you put on social media is your representative, in my opinion. It's not really sometimes who you are or whatever. And people be up here doing this and doing that or whatever, because you can't get caught up in that. Just like, you know, with us, you know, we have a lot of friends and things that are particular. Everybody doesn't watch. Everybody don't support. Focus on who is present, who is showing up, and you keep it moving after that particular point. I know that I have had to unplug from social media before. Like I have had, and you know, I fasted one time, you know, from social media. And what I did when I came back from that fast is I turned all my notifications off. So I don't, like if you message me or alerts or anything on social media, I get none of that stuff until I go in it. And that's sort of kind of like my wall or my barrier, so I don't get, you know, get caught up in it all the time or whatever.
Yeah, I've done that. I've done it myself. I've even actually deleted the apps. I don't like deactivate the accounts, but I've deleted the apps, and I feel like you have to have that mental break.
That boundary.
From
Right. So let me ask you another question. So Nick Cannon, another story. Nick Cannon recently did a man panel on his show. And what he was talking about is he was talking about body insecurities. And, you know, he was saying that one of his biggest, you know, he kind of doesn't feel all of the time happy or proud in his body. He's always said he's been always a skinny guy. So when it comes to intimacy and in the bedroom, he doesn't like he'll keep socks on, or he may keep a shirt on, or he may keep a blanket on top of him or something like that, because he's insecure about his body. So my question to you is, Trei, do you have insecurities about your body, specifically around areas of intimacy?
No, I don't have any. I don't. It really is skinny shaming. All shaming is real.
Is real too, girl.
Yes, it is. It is. It's funny because I don't have any kind of insecurities, but sometimes I do question, because you know, you have certain people who, and people tell me like, Trei, all the time, you're a good looking guy. You know, sometimes I think, oh, maybe I may not be big enough, or I may not be skinny enough, or the case may be. Those times where I battle, but I think the insecurity that I honestly deal with, and this may sound stupid as hell, but my insecurity used to be my complexion.
You were insecure about being bright? Why the hell were you insecure about being bright, girl? You get doors open for white people and light-skinned people. What's the problem? We're talking about in a setting of intimacy or relationship, because I've even actually had this conversation with you. There was an individual I was in a relationship with before who was brown skinned, who told me, you remember this individual, who told me that he no longer wanted to be in a relationship with me after 8 months because he realized that he was attracted to dark skinned men. Do you believe that? Do you actually believe that, or do you believe that was just a cop out?
A part of me believes it because I saw.
Shame the devil, girl. Tell the truth and shame the devil.
A part of me believed it because I saw the things that he looked in, and then I saw the people that he dated after me, and it was the complexion. It was literally probably the same size as me, but it was really just their complexion.
I guess you look too much like raw chicken for him. He couldn't deal with it anymore.
But the thing about it is,
like a raw chicken drumhead.
For a long time, I battled with that. That was probably mine. It's not. I'm not insecure about my body or anything like that. But honestly, my complexion, even still to this day, I have conversations with my friends. I'm like, like, damn, I see like people who are dark skinned or brown skinned who gets more play than I do.
Well,
So
for you to only be kind of insecure about your complexion, I think that's a wonderful thing, because there's several things on me that I'm insecure about or whatever. Like, I'm insecure about, one, my weight. I'm insecure about my stomach or whatever, to the point that, if I am engaging in sexual activities, I used to kind of keep a shirt on because I didn't want them to see my man titties or whatever, or I didn't want them to see the roundness of my belly or whatever the case may be. I know sometimes I still struggle with that. Sometimes I struggle with, are you good enough? Are you pleasing your partner well? I know I don't have the biggest dick in the world or whatever the case may be, but sometimes I'm insecure about my dick size or whatever. So there's a lot of things that I, am insecure about. But for you to say you're only insecure about your skin complexion, that says a lot about you. You're very confident and secure in who you are or whatever. You're right. Ain't nothing wrong with these man boobs. But, and I'm 38 years old now. I'll be 39 in a month or so. But it took some time. It took some work for me to feel secure about who I am and, my body, all of this lusciousness that I have to offer and all of that good stuff like that. So only thing I can tell you is try to do the work. If there is something about you that you aren't happy with physically and it's changeable and it's attainable, go get the work done, child. I used to look down on people who get nips and tucks and stuff. Child, I don't look down on nobody who get nips and tucks. If you want to cut that shit off, cut it off. Cut it to the left, cut it to the right, cut it up and down, cut it all through.
I'll say this, and I'll just only speak for me, just based on the two topics that we have discussed, from the whole suicide thing to the body shaming, or just the insecurities. Like, if you have any thoughts in your mind of depression or suicidal thoughts, like, honestly, some people say you have to find things to live for, like for yourself. But for me, in that place, I thought about where I could be, and also who loved me. I don't want to leave this world knowing that my impact of me taking my life will leave my sister wondering, why could I not help my little brother? Leave my mom wondering, why did I have to bury my child? If you are thinking about, like Maurice said, there's things that you don't like about your body or yourself that's changeable, I encourage you to change it, because everything cannot be perfect, but it can be changed.
Right.
So if you are at that point where you think those things, and if you're watching this and you know somebody who you want to share it to them, like, honestly, change it. It can be changed, and your depression can be lifted and just removed.
Right.
I've been there.
And you said something that I thought was somewhat profound. About, you thought about your mom burying you, you thought about, your sister, you thought about all those people. And for Kevin Gates, coming back to the Kevin Gates situation, what stopped him from committing suicide is he happened to have just a random encounter with a fan in the gym. And the fan walked up to him, was like, do you mind if I approach you? Just want to say, man, your music is the only thing that's making sense in this crazy world right now, or whatever, which led them to a deeper conversation. And then he, told the fan that, yeah, I'm actually thinking about killing myself. And the fan was like, started crying and embraced him, was like, bro, don't do that. Like, people love you. And if you kill yourself, then other people who follow you might end up doing the same thing. So don't give up, or whatever the case may be. So depression is definitely real. One of our watchers said something that I found that I also thought was profound. If you don't love your flaws and all, how can you expect someone else to love you and your flaws and all? And that is absolutely true. Love yourself. Love yourself. And I had to go through, a part where I had to love on myself, or whatever, if I felt like I wasn't getting love from it, just loving yourself, encourage yourself, and all that good stuff like that. So,
doesn't sound like that.
What is going on with Kelly Price, Trey? I saw that you wanted to talk about this or whatever. So what's happening with Kelly Price? Because I'm a little late to this story.
I was really honestly kind of late to it too, but then I saw it earlier and I was like, what in the hell is going on? Kelly Price has some words to say to R. Kelly's girlfriend's mother. I guess the mother basically said something about what Kelly Price previously said in the interview, where Kelly Price was saying basically, I was never in a situation or backstage where I was around R. Kelly where it seemed like he was, molesting or doing anything with young women.
Mm-hmm.
So the mother of R. Kelly's girlfriend was like, you need to tread lightly on what you say. So, yeah, tread lightly. And Kelly, she's just like, Kelly Price is kind of like, she's really one of those hood. She thinks she hood, but I mean, whatever.
No, Kelly Price is hood. Ain't no think she hood. She's hood, honey. That's my church member. That is my church member. So you're not gonna talk about my dreamer, okay? You're not gonna do that.
Right. Right. So she basically just like clapped back and was like, you're not gonna put words in my mouth because I never said that. It didn't happen. She basically was saying that I'm not supporter of people who do that, because she said it herself, I've been molested, I've been raped. Mm-hmm. She said those things, and she was like, I don't support men who do those things to women. But what you're not going to do is put words in my mouth and say that I'm claiming that I do. So don't tell me what to do. And then she used the whole Nene thing. I said what I said, and I meant it.
And you're right. Kelly Price said exactly what the hell did she say. So I did watch the video, her particular video. Kelly Price, and for those of you who are just coming on, we're talking about this whole back and forth with Kelly Price and one of R. Kelly's girlfriends and the girlfriend's mama, all this drama. So what had happened was, Kelly Price recently did an interview, I think, with Complex or with Vlad TV, one of the others. And she was talking about how, her relationship with R. Kelly, just as what Trei said, she didn't really see all of that stuff with R. Kelly. That wasn't her experience with him. However, she does acknowledge the fact that there had been a lot of rumblings, in the industry around. And she said that she sometimes saw mothers bring their daughters backstage and things of that particular nature. Now, not one time did she say anything about Jocelyn or Jocelyn, however you say her name, her mom or whatever.
Jocelyn.
You telling me I need to tread lightly. Girl, I never said you, but a hit dog.
It'll holler. Okay?
A hit dog every single time. And that's what she was saying. Like, don't come threaten me. Don't tell me to tread lightly or whatever, because your mama brought you behind the scenes or whatever and slutted you out to R. Kelly and his whole entire, squad or whatever the case is.
I mean, I feel like that's what they do. But I mean.
And I actually believe that happens. Sometimes people want fame so much. They want it so much that they are willing to sacrifice virginity. They're willing to sacrifice their integrity. They're willing to sacrifice this. I ain't saying that I won't be one of them people or whatever, because I've already said I will sleep around a little bit or whatever to get what I want to get a come up or whatever.
It's so interesting. It's so interesting because those things are so talked about. And I don't know, do you watch the show Queens?
I do not.
Okay, so
but it's on my DVR to binge watch.
So what I really love about Queens is that what I love about it is that it's showing, honestly, and if you watch it, you see the kind of hits and jabs that they throw at the music industry, and what the music industry really actually does to women. And one of the things that was, I think, one of the recent episodes where Remy Ma has came on and joined the show, she basically expressed how she was, sexually harassed by a previous producer who she was trying to work with. And then the other girl who's on there, she basically now is confessing how she experienced that same thing. It's even interesting because there's a Caucasian character that they just introduced who really looked like her story is kind of like Britney Spears' story. So what I really like about the show is that they really are using this show and showing how the music industry actually did women or does women. And so it's kind of crazy because you hear those stories and they're kind of like it's true.
I'm going to say this. Or whatever. I'm all about believing women. I'm all about protecting women, especially Black women, because our women do get taken advantage of. But people also, and women also, have to start being honest with themselves sometimes about the things that they do. A lot of times they know exactly what they be doing. So you can't engage and do things, and then once you've done it, now you want to change your story and say something completely different.
Well,
now there's
levels what we talked about.
I know there's intimidation. You have to factor in all of that stuff. But what I would encourage women to remember is that you still do have the right to say no. You do not have to do these things or whatever. Right. You don't have to sleep with this person. You don't have to do this. But when it does happen and you are a willing participant, don't get on these platforms and try to become the victim when you know you willingly gave up that ass. And
that's what I feel about the girl.
Gave up that cootie cat.
That's what the same thing I feel about the girl with Trey Songz, who tried to say that Trey Songz did what he did to her. Like, and we talked about that before with Bill Cosby. Like, you know, I feel like, you know, some of those women do that. Bill Cosby, who knew who he was,
right,
and they wanted to do whatever they wanted to do with their careers.
And people don't want to have real conversations about these things because it happens. It happens or whatever. But again, I am still saying that I believe women. Sometimes I don't believe women all the time or whatever. But you know, if a woman does say that something like this happens to her, we have to take those accusations seriously. But in the process, we can't cancel the man because sometimes some people do lie, and then there are some nasty predators out there like
Portia Williams.
Who?
Portia Williams. She just wanted to be in the story.
Listen, we're not going to go into that.
She wanted to be part of the story. Like, girl, how you just going to come out of nowhere with this in your book? Now, I love you, Portia, but girl.
She held on to it, Trey. She held on to it.
She trying to sell that book. She's trying to sell that book, okay?
So speaking of another...
And the man is locked up, so I'm going to go ahead and put it in the store. I'm put it in my book.
Speaking of another R&B/pop singer, Adele. So Adele is making headlines right now because within the 11th hour, the 12th hour, the 9th hour, whatever it is, she decided last minute that she was going to cancel her, or not cancel, postpone her initial or inaugural show at the Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. Now, for those of you who don't know, Adele has a residency coming up in Vegas that was supposed to start, I believe, this week. Tickets were going for up to like $12,000 to $16,000. People flew in. They took off work. They paid their money. They
put their dogs in
Las Vegas or whatever with the intention, I'm going to their concert. Oh, we're going to have a good time. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. They was ready to, you know, to have fun and hello from the other side. And rumor has it, sing all this. And then Adele decided, I'm not gonna have the show. Now, when she did a live video, you know, apologizing to all of the fans, all of the people who were, you know, coming to the show, she cited that it was one, majority of the team or her band caught COVID, so they were in quarantine. Two, there was some backlog when it comes to shipments for, you know, the show or whatever. So whether it's props, whether it's equipment, whatever, stuff wasn't here. It's trapped up on the dock or whatever, down in the pier or whatever the case may be. So that's what she cited. However, sources are now saying that, Adele, you are a damn liar. It ain't got nothing to do with COVID. It ain't got nothing to do with you having a backlog of shipments. It has to do with the fact that you are just hard to please and that you were not satisfied with what Caesar had to offer. Okay, so my question to you, Trey, is, do you believe that it's a lie, that she's telling a lie? And do you believe that she should have canceled or postponed the show?
So I'm going to answer both questions here. I do not believe that she is telling the truth. I feel like it's full of shit. And she got on that fucking camera and decided to want to boohoo cry and get somebody to sympathize for her counseling. First of all, if all of this was happening and COVID was already, you know, present, we already know, why would you even put together a tour when there's a possibility of all that happening? So I feel like it's bullshit. I feel like it's bullshit, and I feel like what she pulled was a Jennifer Lopez. And then when I say she pulled a Jennifer Lopez has been known to do shit like that. She would even leave a show if her dressing rooms are not painted certain colors. Like, that's just what Jennifer Lopez did. So I feel like she just pulled you know, a modern day Jennifer Lopez.
You feel like she was being a diva?
Yes. She's been a diva. Okay. She's been a diva. I think I've actually heard that Keith Urban actually replaced her for some of her shows, for some of the dates that she's not going to be doing. I think it's kind of fucked up because, like you said, a lot of people spent a lot of hard-earned money, affected their livelihood. You know, decided to not pay rent for 3 months to go to this show. I think it's kind of fucked up. But you know, if a black artist did it, because you know a lot of people was trying to sympathize with her, but if a black artist did it, oh, it's an issue. Oh,
well, Erykah Badu does it all the time. She comes to her
Badu
late.
is Erykah Badu.
But
We already know it's a trend. It's a trend now with Erykah. We're okay with it. We're all right with Erykah doing it because you know what? But no, Adele and this whole Erykah, and then when Erykah do it, she's like, all right, I'm here. She don't get out doing no boo crime.
Lauryn Hill has been known to do that as well too, or whatever. But in Adele's defense, she has reached out. Like, she's personally reached out to a lot of her fans. She's FaceTimed them. She's called them. She's apologized to them. She's assured them that the show isn't canceled. That it's just
that makes it okay. So
that it's postponed. She's been offering them gifts out of her store, her online store. She's been doing all of these things, or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I know
think
for
it's
me,
okay.
If I took off work or whatever, I done found me a babysitter or a dog sitter. I done bought a plane ticket. I done bought these rooms, and your ass decide to cancel the show a couple of hours before it's supposed to happen. Girl, you better get your fat ass on that damn stage, and you better get you some
Maurice,
water.
She's not fat no more. Maurice, she's not. Maurice,
she's still fat in my mind, but you better get your ass up on that stage, and you need to sing. Sing from the bottom of your pussy. That's what I'm gonna need for you to do. Pull that thing out, sing a cappella. You're gonna have to give me something, girl. I ain't come all the way to Vegas for just nothing. That's a lot of damn money, Trey. And yes, some of these tickets, someone was asking, these tickets, some people were paying $12,000 and $16,000 for these tickets.
Maurice, that's a lot of money. What are you getting this money for? What
a lot of damn money.
What do you get? I would get up there. They can say, I'll get up there and say, we'll get up there and give them a show.
Listen, we are the world. We can sing. We
are the future.
You know, we can sing whatever. But girl, you're gonna have to sing at least a minimum of 12 to 16 songs. Every $1,000 that I paid for that ticket, you're gonna have to sing me at least one song, girl. One song.
Absolutely.
But I gotta go, Trey. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. Again, make sure you like it, share it on YouTube, all that good stuff. And you got something to say before we end?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I thought you was about to say something. I didn't want to cut you off.
No, I appreciate it.
All right, but talk to you guys later. Love you. Bye.
Bye, y'all.